divorce is a complicated and emotional process, but it can go more smoothly with the right, educated, and experienced lawyer. Attorney Lee White from Jodat Law Group is here with some help. And Lee, unfortunately, I know about this process all too well because I've been going through a divorce for about a year and a half. And, you know, when you talk about smoothly, there's common things that you always think you would know before going in. So what are some things that, you know, people could help make this process go more smoothly?
Well, generally speaking, talking with an attorney first before you do anything is probably going to help things move forward as smoothly as possible. A lot of common mistakes that I see people make is that they take certain actions, knowingly or unknowingly, that can have a really negative impact on their divorce or custody case, and they do that before they talk with an attorney, and it can have a lasting impact as the case moves forward.
So you should tell your attorney before you tell your spouse, soon-to-be ex-spouse.
Well, I don't think you should necessarily not communicate with your spouse. To the extent that two people are able to effectively communicate together and they can kind of hash out issues in advance, that can really help things move forward.
They probably wouldn't be getting divorced if that were the case.
You never know sometimes.
Well, you know, one of the things I had to deal with, you mentioned, you know, talking to an attorney. I went through several. You know, how do you get to the point where you're making sure you have an attorney that matches what you're needing and find that out before you've paid a bunch of money for retainers and, you know, all that stuff?
Well, bottom line, you want an attorney that you're going to feel comfortable with and confident in. And what is required for you to achieve that is a different thing for each individual person. And I think talking with as many attorneys as you can to try and get a good feel for them in advance is probably the best decision that you can make. You can also rely on friends or family members for referrals. You can utilize online reviews, but when it all comes down to it, you just want to be comfortable with the attorney that you're going forward with.
Is it okay to have preliminary meetings with more than one attorney? I mean, can you kind of like say, you know, have a consultation and then say you feel and then go to another one? I mean, do you shop?
People absolutely do that.
Okay, because it's a big investment.
Sounds like dating.
Yeah.
It is. Well, it is a very personal relationship. You're going through a divorce with a client, and you're incurring a lot of that stress and anxiety that the client's feeling. So it's important that the attorney and the client be able to communicate effectively. And you know, some people get along better with other people, and meeting with attorneys, doing free consultations, getting a feel for the attorney in advance is the best thing that you can do.
All right.
Is there a way to approach that with someone? Say, hey, I love the firm, but I'm not feeling comfortable with you. Is there someone else? How would you go about that?
I've never had anyone say that to me, but I wouldn't be offended if they did. I would want them to tell me that maybe they would feel more comfortable. Some people prefer to have a male attorney or a female attorney for whatever reason, and I would obviously want to know that in advance, and we do everything we can to accommodate them.
Awesome.
And one thing I noticed I needed was documents and different information, and that the attorney will ask for and maybe my ex wouldn't produce. You know, what do you do to make sure you have all the necessary files and information that you need?
Well, for an initial consultation with an attorney, you typically don't need a bunch of documentation. I can meet with a person and get a general understanding of what the issues and concerns are without having to go through what we call financial disclosure. But to the extent someone's able to start gathering documents together with the expectation of a divorce, looking at bank statements, credit card statements, retirement account information, having all of that readily available can make it easier for you to provide that information to your attorney, because it is going to be necessary as part of a divorce proceeding.
And it's good to get that before you're in an argument with someone that may not give them to you. All right. Another thing a lot of people talk about is prenups. And you know, when you go into a situation, many women feel like they shouldn't sign a prenup, especially if their ex makes a little bit more. But doesn't that turn out to be the opposite, where it could be beneficial for both parties? It
certainly can be. So a prenuptial agreement is going to define and oftentimes limit a person's rights and interests as they go through a divorce case. It typically limits the impact of Florida laws. So if you are going to go through and consider entering into a prenup, you definitely want to talk with an attorney about doing that. But it can simplify the process. The big question is, where are you going to be at your point in life when you do go through the divorce?
All right, well, thank you so much, Lee. And if you guys want to get more legal advice, you want to go to Jodat Law Group. Their website is right there. They have all the information you need about divorce and many other issues you may be going through in your life. Next, a special field trip Friday. We'll tell you all about it when we're coming up.